Day 3 of the NFL Draft is now a wrap, so we thought we'd take a look back at Saturday's picks, looking at 4, 5, 6, and 7 for the rounds. Looking at each pick from each round that we kind of like. Starting off with the 4th round, I like OMAR BOLDEN, the cornerback from Arizona State. I think he's a huge talent. He's just been injured. I think if he comes back healthy, he's a great pick for them.
Another corner I like in that round, BOYKIN, also return specialist.
Yeah.
Really competitive kid. You know, they just traded Asante Samuel. There's a need at that position. I think he fits in beautifully.
I think you're going to see a trend here for me, at least, with defensive backs. Then in the 5th round, I like George ILOKA from Boise State, the big safety. He's big, tall, and strong. He's pretty rangy. I thought it was a great pick for them as late as they got him.
Bengals have 3 safeties over 6'3". Eagles have 3 linebackers that are under 6 foot. Amazing when you think about it. But my 2 picks, I couldn't decide between them. DEQUAN, MENZIE, the safety or corner from Alabama, going to the Chiefs. I think he could step into a role right away. And Chris Rainey from Pittsburgh, or going to Pittsburgh, I should say. The Florida speedster is going to fit in somewhere, whether he's a running back, a receiver, a return guy. His speed will affect that team.
Love that pick for the Steelers. The 6th round, I went with Tommy Streeter, a wide receiver, a speed guy that went to the Ravens. We saw what they did with Torrey Smith last year. I think another good fit for Baltimore.
Might take a year or two, but I like the pick as well. And then Ryan Lindley for me, going to the Cardinals. And I tell you what, if there's a muddier quarterback situation out there, I mean, 2 guys who have started and may end up being starters, but I think he's in a perfect situation to kind of sneak up on both 2 years from now. Who knows?
I mean, Richard Bartell was their number 3 there. They have 3 guys that they think may all end up being starting quarterbacks. And finally, in the 7th round, it's tough to sift through and find someone of note. But Antonio Allen, the safety that went to the Jets, I saw him similar to ILOKA. I thought he'd go a lot earlier. I think they get a playmaker late.
You love your DBs. I don't know what it is. I love my centers. I'm going to go with David MOLK from Michigan. I thought he was a pretty good value pick there. A lot of people talked about him maybe the 3rd round. Nick Hardwick's 31 years old, still very good, but you got to have a good quality backup center. I think MOLK fills that role.
If you look at Day 3 as a whole, what was just kind of some theme that stood out to you?
You know, something that really surprised me with the number of small school defensive backs at safety. Now, we knew about a lot of corners that were at some of these smaller schools, but safeties from Maine, South Carolina State, Samford, Eastern Washington, all ahead of guys like ILOKA in round 5. So it was shocking that teams went for these safeties, special teamers, these kind of combo guys. So a lot of corners too from those small school guys, rounds 2 to 5.
And teams obviously doing their homework, finding these guys, sifting through, finding the talent despite where they went to school. What was your biggest surprise in Day 3?
Well, I think the effect of the arrest of ALFONZO, DENNARD, the Nebraska corner, 2nd, 3rd round possibility, slipping to all the way to round 7. Bill Belichick spent some time last month up in Nebraska, clearly had pretty good feeling about the kid, took him in round 7. I bet you keep him on the straight and narrow, he's going to make an impact. And then Kirk Cousins, I think we talked about this off the air. I mean, just him going to Washington and backup RG3, different kinds of skills. It's going to be fascinating. Griffin runs the ball a lot. He could take a lot of hits, a little more frail. You need a good backup quarterback. This kid's worth developing.
I think I was surprised that Cousins lasted that long. We had talked about maybe he was the 3rd best quarterback in the entire draft. He ends up going and backing up the 2nd best quarterback of the draft. Who would have thought it? That's a look at Day 3 of the NFL Draft. You can keep getting more coverage on the draft right here at ProFootballWeekly.com.